Kasheme, conscious listening.
I sort of got into DJing by accident, really. I think almost everything that I've done in my life, subsequent to my early career as a chef, was connected to record collecting. So everything that I've done really has been connected to just collecting music. I started DJing because I had a lot of records and people started saying, "You've got loads of records, can you come to our party?" So for the first 5 or 6 years I never played in a club at all. I just played in people's houses and stuff like that. I'd bring a pile of records with me and just play them. But when I think back now, I don't really consider what I was doing DJing as such. I was just like putting records on. And it was only when house music arrived that I kind of understood the dynamics of what DJing actually was. And that kind of changed my perspective, and then I started looking more deeply into it and taking it a bit more seriously, I suppose. So I didn't buy decks until like 1989 or 90, I think, and I'd already been DJing for like 3 or 4 years by then. Frank Broughton, my partner in crime, he and I met in New York. We were both living in New York, and Frank lived in a big brownstone in Harlem, in Marcus Garvey Square. So we just started doing house parties in his house, but the house was big, so we were doing probably 250 capacity parties in this brownstone. The main floor, which was just kind of the one that's above ground level, up the stoop, you could probably get 120 people in that room. So we'd set a DJ booth up at one end, and then the rest of it was a dance floor. And then in the basement we had like someone else DJing and food and drinks and stuff like that. And I think we did 3 or 4 in there, and then we did a couple of loft parties in the East Village. I think we did a total of maybe 5 or 6 parties in New York, and then both of us moved back to London at the end of 1996. Then early 97 we started doing those parties again in the UK. It's an obsession, really. I love it. I never get bored of it, and I love turning up to a gig not knowing what I'm going to play. These days I have a USB, actually a small hard drive, and it has 7,000 tracks on it. And I love coming to a gig and not knowing which direction I'm going to go, what I'm going to play. And it's the people on the dance floor or the people in the room that sort of help you determine the direction that you're going to go in. And I love the symbiotic relationship that you build up with a crowd like that. I think it's something that you don't get when you perform live as a band or whatever. You know, when you're in a band, you're bound by the amount of songs that you've rehearsed and that you know and stuff like that. Whereas with DJing, you really you can sway all over the place, and I really like that unpredictability about arriving somewhere and not really knowing how the night's going to go, which direction it's going to go in, or what music you're going to play. I think that's what I find endlessly attractive about it and interesting is you just don't know where you're going to go that evening. And a lot of the music that I look for outside of the kind of DJ sphere is sort of slightly eccentric pop music, is what I really, really love. Things that in an ideal world would be in the charts, or in my head. The chart that is compiled in my head would certainly include these in the charts. So yeah, I really love sort of slightly off the wall, what I think of as pop music, even if it's not actually popular. I mean, the reason I'm here really was to go and see Kalabrese play live last night, and I'm a huge fan of what he does and what they do, and to me that's also a kind of pop music as well, even though most people wouldn't regard it as pop music. But I love the eccentricity of the music that he makes, and I wish the world would be more receptive to music like that. But that's the kind of music that I really love. It's sometimes music that you have to give a little bit more thought to absorb. Very few people that are that kind of relaxed on stage, that it almost felt like it was a rehearsal on stage and he was inviting you to some exclusive rehearsal that they were doing. He's just so at ease with what he does, and I love that fact that it's a performance, but it's also who he is and how he is. Yeah, to see them live is just, I mean, I love their music. I've really been into it since the first album came out, but like actually seeing him play live is just, yeah, it blew me away. I was just, yeah, it was fantastic. And seeing him live playing Zurich as well, I think that's the thing. You know, I want my girlfriend to come and see him, but I don't want her to see him anywhere else but Zurich. I think it's like seeing all of those people who know him and love him and appreciate him makes the evening even more special. Like kind of seeing him on home territory, I think you've got to see them there first, and then I'll allow you to go and see them somewhere else. But first you've got to go to Zurich.
I put the demo tape in the cassette player. And I feel a bond, a connection. For the first time, I was a part of a family. It's that feeling, you know, it's the same today.